On everyone, my name is Matt Jarbo. This is $3 Theater, and welcome to the call-in. This is my voicemail response episode. I want to do these a lot more frequently. I've been really busy lately, so unfortunately, I have not been able to answer them all right away. But I wanted to give you guys the call in today, and then get your questions answered, so we could have a lot of fun. There's a lot to get to, so I'm just going to jump right into it here. The first one here is all about the Marvel Cinematic Universe, which I find to be again a very fun topic of conversation. So let's just dive.
Hey Matt, how you doing, man? This is Trey F. Kennedy, man. I've been subscribed to you for about a year now, maybe a year and a half. Love what you do, man. Love the podcast. Love $3 Theater. I love your other one too. So this is my question, and I just want to get your perspective. How do you think the MCU would be different? The Marvel Cinematic Universe would be different if they would have stayed independent and never been brought by Disney. I just want your perspective on that, because I feel like my perspective is, had they would have stayed independent, I believe they would have got the right specs sooner or later to the X-Men and Deadpool and Fantastic Four. But I also feel like they wouldn't have all these rules put on them by Disney, like they can't show people smoking, and you have to be like it's crazy that the actors have to be like real life role models and this, that, and the third. And I feel like they could touch on darker subject matter if they would stay independent, as opposed to being brought by Disney in 2009. I just want to know your perspective regarding that, man. And yeah, like I said, man, love the show, man. I'm gonna keep supporting Patreon, whatever. And yeah, peace.
Hey, thanks a lot for that, Trey. I do appreciate it. That was a long one, but it was comprehensive. That's why I wanted to start with that one. So the idea here of what would happen if the MCU would have stayed away from Disney. Disney would have never dropped the $4 billion 6 years ago. They would have continued on their trajectory. What would have happened? I can tell you right now, I don't think they would have been as big. I don't think so. I think they would be doing well, but I don't think they would be doing as well. Not only with them, oh, sorry, no, they bought them in 2010, not 2012. I'm thinking Lucasfilm, but that ties into it too. One of the things is that these movies were going to do well. You know, Iron Man did really well. Thor, Captain America, the Incredible Hulk did well, but they were leading into the Avengers, and the Avengers was a $2 billion movie. That was also the first Avengers movie that was put out by Disney. Or that was the first Marvel movie put out by Disney. And so they were able to market it. They were able to take it. They were able to market it. I think that was one of the things that led it to $2 billion. And then past then, they've also been cranking out a lot of sequels that some people like and some people don't like. I don't know if Marvel Studios, without Disney's money, would have been able to put out 20 films in 11 years. I don't think that would have happened. I don't think we would have gotten a Thor Ragnarok. We wouldn't have gotten, we would have already gotten Thor the Dark World, but I don't think we would have gotten Ragnarok. I don't think we would have gotten Doctor Strange. I don't think we would have gotten a lot of these movies. I think they would have focused on the core characters. I think they would have focused on, like, we'd be on Iron Man 4 or 5 by now. You know, Civil War would have never happened. Civil War would have never happened. All right. Spider-Man coming into the MCU would have never happened. A large portion of that happening was because of the popularity and the security that Disney offers, right? Kevin Feige is making them money, so they're willing to pony up more money. At the time, Marvel Studios, when they went into production on these films in like 2006, they took out like $200 million loan. They kind of hedged all their bets on Iron Man and the Incredible Hulk. Now, I do feel that we would have gotten more Incredible Hulk movies. I think Universal would have focused entirely on an Incredible Hulk trilogy, as well as I think they also own Namor, and they would have also focused on their other characters there. So I think that whatever characters Universal owns would have come out, been part of the MCU through those kind of deals. As for X-Men, Deadpool, and everything else, keep in mind at the time in 2008 or 2010, when they were purchased, you know, for as far as X-Men movies go, we were right after X-Men Origins Wolverine, which was not a high point for anything, but we were done with the first trilogy of Bryan Singer's X-Men movies. Right. And then they were getting ready. They didn't reboot it until 2011, hoping that First Class would have done well. Then he had 2014 with Days of Future Past. And those did very, very, very well. So I don't think it would have gone to Disney, or the rights would have gone back to Marvel. They would have kept them around, like they rebooted Fantastic Four in order to keep the rights. Now Fox did relinquish the rights to Daredevil, because they never followed up with it, and then Lionsgate relinquished the rights to Punisher when they never followed up with it. So those would have gone back to Marvel, and I don't know where those would have been. I don't know if we would have gotten the Netflix series. Because keep in mind that the Netflix series was produced through ABC Television. And so that was a big deal that Netflix came out with. So I can't quite say where things are going to be. But I think that ultimately the way the show, or the way what it played out, is that we would still have movies at this point, not as many diverse characters. I think that I don't even think we would have a Black Panther by now, to be honest with you. I think they would have stuck with what works, because the powers that be at Marvel probably didn't want to take too many risks, even though Kevin Feige has proven himself time and time and time again. He's also proven himself, because he has the financial backing and the vision to back that up, right? Does that make sense? Or he has the vision and the financial backing to back that up. So those are just my thoughts on that. But again, thank you very much for calling in. I do appreciate it. So we're going to jump over here to a question about the Simpsons.
Hi, Matt Jarko, Monday Matt. This is Mike here, calling about the future of the Simpsons franchise, if it should go on or should be canceled, especially considering the recent controversies of the Apu character in recent times, combined with the fact that the show is nearly 30 years old at 30 seasons of 640 plus episodes as of the time of calling, along with the fact that the long-running Simpsons comics line, along with the Congo Comics production company going under with them, likely to transfer the comic rights from Bongo to Marvel, say, if the Disney-Fox deal goes through. And considering this whole Disney-Fox deal going on lately, I do think it would be interesting to see what's going to be the fate of the Simpsons franchise, especially as someone who used to be a mega fan of the show during the 90s, early 2000 period seasons when I was the most into the franchise. So what should they do? Should the show end, especially if the Apu really does officially get removed from the series, or should the series continue on, or will that decision be made by Disney by the time the Disney-Fox deal is finalized?
Okay, so with that question is what should happen with the Simpsons franchise, especially in regards to Apu and where other things are involving the Marvel or the Disney-Fox deal. If Apu ends up getting taken away, they're not gonna, it's gonna anger some fans, but ultimately it's not gonna end up killing the show, right? It's not gonna end up destroying everything. They're gonna keep it going. They're just gonna write him out. And it's not hard. He's never been like, he's a staple in the show, but he's not like a main character. So they could easily not have him around and like nobody would really notice. Like, it's just, it would be noticeable at first, I think, but ultimately at the end of the day, people would be like, they'd move on, because the fans that they had like 20 years ago are probably not many fans today, but the show still does really, really, really well in regards to syndication. So about the comic book, yeah, it's going to go from Bonzo over to Marvel. Whether or not they do anything with it, I have literally no idea. It's one of those things where you've got, this Marvel's going to take care of it. But as for the show, I think part of the purchase, I've said that the $71.3 billion deal between Fox and Marvel, or Fox and Disney, I guess Marvel, was for the Marvel characters. But Simpsons is also a big staple of that. 30 years, they have, again, syndication rights, make a lot of money. The show does really, really, really well. Again, it's that, not just that, but it's like Family Guy and Bob's Burgers and all the other shows that they have access to, all the FX shows they have access to. And I think they're going to keep all of those around for a while, but they should end up probably getting rid of the Simpsons. I know that sounds pretty bad, because I'm a big Simpsons fan, have been my whole life, but it's time for the show to, I think, move on and everyone else to move on to just, well, different things. But I appreciate the call, and thank you very much for that one. And here we got a question about Captain America.
Hey Matt, this is AJ, longtime viewer, love your work. I was wondering, what do you think about the news about Chris Evans not being done with the Captain America role? Love to hear your views. Later.
Okay, so we had that not that confirmation, but we had that tweet from from Chris Evans saying like, hey, it's a wrap. It's been great, 8 years, awesome, love it, thank you guys very much. And everyone's like, he's done. Well, there was a screening of Infinity War with the directors a couple weeks ago where that question came up, and the question ultimately became, did this end up being, is Chris Evans done? And then they're like, no, he's not as done as you think. Now, I don't know what to make of all that. I think that there's been some scrambling at Disney trying to figure out whether or not. I think they've been trying to figure out how to use Captain Marvel, right? And so, ultimately, what is it like? So they wanted Captain Marvel to lead the pack, right, for the next 10 years. So they wanted to kind of phase out the older characters, bring in Captain Marvel, and have that be a thing. What I'm wondering here is if they looked at the response to the trailer and they looked at the response to her and how maybe she's not screen testing as well, that maybe they're not fully done with Captain America just yet, because they don't have a face for the next 10 years if Captain Marvel fails. And maybe they're trying to find a way to keep Chris Evans around just in case that happens. Now, look, I don't know. I know the dude wants to move on to other projects. He probably doesn't want to be Captain America all the time. But I also think he loves the role and he doesn't fully want to walk away from it just yet. So we'll have to wait and see on that one. But I have a feeling that's kind of what it has to do with. And even this particular call right here, again, is all about Captain America and where she stands in the end.
Hey Matt, it's Curtis. I just wanted to point out that I sincerely hope that Captain Marvel does not suck nearly as much as these trailers make it appear it will. Because if Captain Marvel bombs, you know that they're just going to blame it on right-wing misogyny, just like they did with Ghostbusters. And the fact is that if it's not a good movie, it's going to spell for a very bad decade. Later.
Okay, so if Captain Marvel bombs, what he's referring to here ultimately is the left-leaning movie blogs, right? The people that sat there and they were like, if you don't like Ghostbusters, you're a sexist. You know the ones I'm talking about, right? I covered that shit for years. It's been nearly 3 years since the first trailer for Ghostbusters dropped, and people still talk about it, and they still bring it up like, oh, it's full of just bigotry and misogyny, which it's really not. The movie just wasn't very good. So ultimately, I think what it boils down to here is the fact that if it fails, which it might, it's going to fail, I think, for a couple of reasons. And here's my thoughts. And I've said this before. If it fails, I think it's going to fail predominantly because of James Gunn. I think the fallout over the James Gunn situation has severely impacted some people's view of the MCU. A lot of people, we're talking hundreds of thousands of people, that might decide to not go see Captain Marvel in its opening weekend as kind of an FU to Disney, right? That could be a reality. There are people that I've seen talk about that. And there are a lot of people that were furious at this going on. People love Guardians. So if you have a very, very, very large fan base of Guardians fans, or a large portion of Guardians fans not going and see Captain Marvel as kind of a punishment to Disney as a result, that's going to hurt it. Then if you've also got, middling audience reviews, which could happen because, again, the trailer makes it just look like she doesn't want to be there. And again, all the movie bloggers are like, oh my God, Captain Marvel, it's amazing. It's just amazing, darling. It's wonderful. Brie Larson knocks it out of the park, but that's not always the case. So I feel like, yeah, if it tanks, they're going to blame right-wing trolls. They're going to blame Russians. They're going to blame misogynists. And that just is kind of how it is. But there's another comment here about the Captain Marvel trailer, which has been dominating a lot of the conversation this week. But let's take
Hey, I just watched the video for Captain Marvel. It looks so boring. And I'll be honest with you, I kind of agree. I mean, I thought like the scene in the car, I was thinking about it just before you pointed it out in the video. where she corrects Nick Fury, that she's not just a warrior, she's a warrior hero. And I was just like, who calls himself a hero? I mean, Captain America would never call himself a hero. Superman would never call himself a hero. I mean, maybe Iron Man, but that would just be a joke. You know, I mean, in addition to her performance being wooden, I kind of feel like, you know, she doesn't even come across as, you know, cocky or confident. So, yeah, I definitely don't think that it's worthy to roll in the next 10 years of Marvel movies.
And he's got a point. He's got a point. That line, you know, oh, we're warrior heroes. Like, oh, that was so cringe. No one liked that line. No one liked that line at all. It's been panned across the internet. And again, just the fact that Brie Larson looks bored in the movie, I think is going to have a negative impact on box office. Like I've already said, I'm going to go see it. My job is to review content, so I have to go see it one way or the other. But I think a lot of people out there are seeing a person not really care to be in the role. And I talked about this earlier today in my Aquaman video, where Jason Momoa oozes personality. He wants to be Aquaman. He's so happy to be Aquaman, and that's going to sell it, right? The actor's performance, both on and off screen, is going to end up selling this particular franchise. And if she is just brainwashed by the Kree and hasn't rediscovered her human roots yet, hasn't discovered her humanity, so to speak, that's going to be a problem. But I agree, she doesn't come across as cocky or confident. And I feel like that's going to end up being a big selling point down the road. Whatever the next trailer they have, whatever comes out like Super Bowl around that time, is going to have to sell it, is going to have to sell her as a hero, because so far it's not doing it. And a lot of people are noticing. So this next one here is about the 21 Jump Street reboot. If you caught my video on that the other day, they said that they're talking to Tiffany Haddish and Awkwafina about taking over the reins from Jonah Hill and Channing Tatum. And this caller, I don't think, is very happy.
Hey, I was thinking of a perfect idea for the new 21 Jump Street or whatever. It would be you bring everyone from the original back, Ice Cube, Jonah Hill, Channing Tatum, and then you have them being the new guys and have Jonah Hill and Channing Tatum say they're off on a mission. All right, that's it. And keep up the good work.
Okay, so I think what he's saying is like bring everyone back and then team them up is kind of how I'm taking that, which would make some sense. Again, you would want to kind of have it be a thing where they'd maybe work together. The idea here of keeping the 21 Jump Street franchise as a franchise and not reboot it off or section it off right away, I think is why a lot of people aren't too pleased with it, right? I think a lot of people out there, sorry, I saw the next caller. I'm going to save that one for the end because this dude is pissed off at me. So anyway, all right. This next one here is about Avengers and everything else.
Jarbo, dude, this is Nate up in Seattle. It been following you since your first Last Jedi post, like your first reaction, and it was just legendary to me. It was like exactly how I felt. So I've been trailing you on YouTube for a while now, and much appreciated. And also just your post today about Avengers. This is fantastic. You beat me to the punch. I was trying to figure out who was on that screen when it flashed really quick because I was looking at my phone and it was Shuri, and I was like, oh man, that's rough, because we didn't know what happened. But anyway, just want to let you know, I really appreciate everything you do, especially with the Marvel and the Star Wars stuff, and I'm stoked to continue watching you. Thanks for everything.
Hey, Nate, thank you very much for calling in. Yeah, the Shuri thing, like, I caught it, and I was all like, okay, so this is like how I operate. I was watching the trailer, and I'm like, I need to do a video talking about this shit, but I got to look for Easter eggs in the back, right? And then, of course, I overslept the trailer coming out because the trailer like posted at 5 a.m. my time, and I'm asleep at 5 a.m. my time, right? and I didn't know when it was coming out, so I couldn't be awake to watch it. And then like I caught the Shuri thing, and I'm like, ha ha ha! I bet you no one else has caught that. I'm such an idiot. Everyone else caught that. Everyone else caught that. It's right there. I'm dumb. I'm so dumb. But I didn't actually catch it the first time I watched it. I caught it the second time I watched the trailer. When I was capturing the screenshots in order to talk about it, I watched it a couple more times and I caught that. But yeah, man, that was kind of a gut punch. I think that moment in the trailer was a bit of a gut punch, simply because there's just because we didn't know what happened, and I liked Shuri's character from Black Panther quite a bit. In fact, actually, I've argued that Black Panther was really like the first female-led Marvel movie. It just heavily featured Black Panther. And I'm sad that she's gone, but it actually makes it tougher then. I think if Shuri was around, Shuri would then be able to figure out how to solve things, and it would be almost too easy. So it does seem like the right move to remove her from the equation. I could be wrong, but that's kind of how I interpret it. We'll have to wait and see what happens though. But thank you very much for calling. I appreciate the kind words. Let's take a listen here just now.
Hey Matt, it's me, AJ, longtime viewer. When you did your Avengers video, you kind of left out the part where Steve has his Winter Soldier suit on when he's holding the compass. And also, I disagree about the time travel. I think it's going to be multiverse. But, that's up to you.
Okay, so in my Avengers Endgame trailer, I speculated about time travel being a thing, and I say that because in some of the leaked images that came out, or some of the leaked information that came out, they've been rebuilding sets from other films, right? They've been rebuilding sets from other movies, and in the trailer, everything in the trailer is specifically crafted, right, for that trailer, for people to dissect. And so yes, he is holding, he's holding the compass with Peggy Carter in it. And he is wearing his Winter Soldier outfit, and he has his face shaved like back when he was Winter Soldier. So there's something happening with that. Now, G here is saying that it's multiverse, and I've heard that theory too. There was a Reddit theory where basically the gauntlet fractured our universe, right? Like it split the universe. And so then 50% of the population went here, 50% of the population went here. And that's why everyone thinks the other half is gone. And so as we're going to find out in the movie, then it's like they have to cross back over in order to, I guess, reset the universe and fix things. I have no idea, but that's the theory that's going around. I think time travel seems more appropriate, to be honest with you, because to me, that just feels like they've already got the time stone. That's in play. We know that it works. I think someone's going to figure it out, and I think they're going to go back in time. But again, we have to wait a little bit longer. So there's that. So okay, got this one here from Chandler asking about the Rocky.
Hey Matt, this is Chandler. My YouTube channel is Mr. Jeff Goldblum of School. As you can tell, I'm a big fan of Jeff Goldblum. I wanted to know your thoughts on Rocky Balboa. Stallone said he's done as Rocky, and where you think they could go after Creed 3. I think Creed 2's director said he wanted to do a Ivan Drago movie, which I think is a great idea. I just don't know if it would work. Just let me know what you think about it. Bye.
All right. This is where I have to admit something I don't want to admit because it's going to catch me a lot of crap in the comments. I have yet to see any Rocky film. Rocky 1 through 5, Rocky Balboa, Creed 1 or 2. I haven't seen any of those 8 movies. Yes, I know. That's also, I haven't done it. That's my bad on that one. I haven't even seen The Godfather yet. I got a quote for The Godfather on the screen, so sue me on that one. But I think when it comes to Stallone and playing Rocky Balboa, the dude's in his 70s right now. Now, granted, he's in insane shape. Have you seen any of the behind the scenes stuff that was coming out from the Rocky? Was it the Rambo 5 shoot? Like, he is ripped at 73 years old. And they're even working on a 4th Expendables movie. So he's going to keep kicking for a while and shit. He definitely is in a situation where he's he's going to, you know, I don't know. I feel like it's, I think he's gonna do pretty good. I think he's gonna do okay. All right, I was just finding the last two I need to find here. But yeah, I haven't seen Rocky movies. I'm sorry, but I feel if they want to do an Ivan Drago film, that'd be cool. I think people would like to see it. I've heard nothing but great things about Creed and Creed 2 and Rocky Balboa and all the other Rocky films. I just never got around to actually watching them. I should make a list of movies I haven't seen and go through and watch them. That's just unfortunately the way it is. No, this for finally, I know this has gone on for a while, and I appreciate everyone getting to this point. But this last one here is great. These last two, I should say, I'm playing both back to back, because I commented on how I felt that the Captain Marvel trailer the other day was pretty boring. I feel that it was pretty boring, and this one, this guy was none too pleased. This particular dude not only sent me these two voicemails, he also messaged me on Facebook and posted on my fan page. So, you know, he's salty as shit that I was not too pleased with that. So I thought I just want to share this with you, and I think it's pretty damn funny.
This guy Mudane Matt, however you say his name, is an idiot. Y'all need to fire him. This dude is a complete idiot. Dude, you are an idiot. That Captain Marvel trailer was great. I mean, you are just a complete idiot. Your mom should have swallowed you. Your mother should have swallowed you because you're an idiot.
There you go. The guy was so mad. The guy was so mad that I didn't like the Captain Marvel trailer. I found it to be boring. That he legitimately says, your mom should have swallowed you. Right? I personally disagree on that one. But the dude, he didn't send me much nicer things in regards to what he posted in my Facebook and he messaged me. It's funny that I triggered someone that much by saying the movie looks boring because she doesn't look like she's having any fun. And I'm not the only one to think that, but I welcome the criticism, sir. While even though I disagree with you about said criticism, I appreciate you voicing your opinion. And I think on that note, that's going to wrap up the episode of the call-in. I would love to do this more times throughout the week. I think now I'm just going to do it on the weekends and put it out and you guys can check it out. But I do appreciate you guys calling in. There were a couple I didn't get to because they were just kind of repeats of the same stuff about Captain Marvel and everything else going on. But I do read them. I do get them and everything. And I appreciate everyone calling. I will talk to you guys later. Have yourself a great day. Thank you so much for paying attention. Keep going to the movies. Keep calling in. If you get your hate comments, those are funny too. Have a good one, guys. And peace out.